There's a moment most men notice but rarely talk about. You're in a conversation, maybe at a gathering, maybe across the table from someone new, and something shifts. The tone changes, the energy settles, and without anyone saying a word, you realize something unusual just happened. She stopped filling the silence. She let the pause hang there, comfortable, waiting. Not nervous, not impatient, just open. Most men would miss it entirely or mistake it for disinterest. But if you've lived long enough, you recognize it for what it really is. It's an invitation, not spoken, not obvious, just there, quiet and unmistakable, waiting for someone who knows how to read it. Welcome to Mature Instincts, where we explore the hidden signals most people miss. If you value awareness over effort and presence over performance, go ahead and subscribe. You'll want to catch what's coming. Today we're talking about 5 subtle signals that tell an older man it's time to take the lead. These aren't instructions she's giving you. They're not tests or games. They're signs of comfort, trust, and openness that only show up when a woman feels safe enough to let her guard down. And the men who notice them don't need to force anything. They simply respond with the calm confidence that comes from experience. Let's start with the first signal, and it's one that happens in plain sight but gets misread constantly. She stops managing the interaction. Think about how most conversations go, especially early on. There's a rhythm to it. Someone asks a question, the other person answers, then they volley it back. It's polite, it's predictable, it keeps things moving. But every now and then you'll notice a shift. She answers your question and then she just stops. She doesn't ask one back. She doesn't redirect. She doesn't fill the space with small talk or nervous energy. She just lets it breathe. That pause is significant. It means she's comfortable enough to stop performing. She's not worried about keeping your attention or proving anything. She trusts that you're not going to disappear if she's not constantly entertaining you. And more than that, she's giving you room. Room to lead the conversation where you want it to go. Room to set the tone. Room to decide what happens next. Younger men panic in that moment. They think they've lost her interest, so they scramble to fill the gap with jokes or questions or anything to keep the momentum going. But a man with experience recognizes that silence for what it is. It's not a void, it's an opening. And the move isn't to fill it frantically. The move is to meet it with your own calm. You might shift the topic somewhere deeper. You might let the quiet linger just a bit longer, showing her you're not rattled by it. You might lean back, take a breath, and simply decide where this goes next. That's leadership, and she's asking for it without saying a word. The second signal shows up in her body language, but not the way most people think. She mirrors your stillness. There's a common idea that mirroring means someone is engaged, leaning in, copying your gestures to show interest. And that's true to an extent. But what most people overlook is the deeper form of mirroring that happens when someone feels genuinely at ease. It's not about matching your movements. It's about matching your energy. And when a woman feels safe around a man, she stops fidgeting. She stops adjusting her hair every 30 seconds or checking her phone or shifting in her seat. She settles. You'll see it most clearly when you yourself are calm. If you're centered, not trying to impress, not performing, just present, she'll start to reflect that back. Her shoulders drop. Her breathing slows. She might even close her eyes for a moment when she's listening to you, like she's not worried about what you're thinking of her appearance. That's trust, and it's rare. Most men are so busy trying to be interesting or charming that they never create the conditions for this kind of stillness. They're animated, energetic, always on. And that's fine in some context, but it doesn't invite depth. It doesn't invite her to relax. A man who understands presence knows that sometimes the most magnetic thing you can do is nothing at all. Just be there, solid, unhurried. And when she mirrors that, when she lets her guard down and matches your calm, that's when you know she's ready for you to take the lead. Not because you demanded it, because she feels safe enough to follow. The third signal is one that happens in moments of uncertainty, and it reveals more than almost anything else. She defers small decisions to you. Now, this isn't about her being passive or indecisive by nature. In fact, the women who do this are often highly capable and used to running their own lives. But in your presence, something shifts. You're talking about grabbing a drink, and instead of naming a place, she says something like, "I'm easy. What do you think?" You suggest a walk, and she asks, "Which way?" You're picking a time to meet, and she says, "Whatever works for you." On the surface, these seem like small, meaningless exchanges, but they're not. They're tests of trust. She's handing you the wheel on little things to see how you handle it, Do you second guess yourself? Do you defer it back to her out of politeness? Do you freeze up because you're worried about making the wrong choice? Or do you just decide calmly and clearly without needing her validation? A man who's been around understands that these moments aren't about the decision itself. It doesn't matter if you pick the bar on the corner or the one, 2 blocks down. What matters is that you're comfortable making the call. You're not afraid of being wrong. You're not looking for approval. You're just leading naturally because that's what she's inviting you to do. And when you do it well, when you make a decision with quiet confidence and she relaxes into it, you'll notice something. She'll keep doing it. She'll keep creating those little openings, giving you more space to step into because you've shown her you know how to hold it. The fourth signal is subtler still, and it shows up in the way she responds to your certainty. She softens when you're direct. There's a certain kind of clarity that only comes with age. You stop hedging, you stop dancing around what you mean. If you're interested, you say so. If you're not available, you're clear about it. If you think something's a bad idea, you don't dress it up. You just state it calmly, without apology or aggression. And here's what most men don't realize. That kind of directness is deeply attractive to women who've spent years dealing with men who can't commit to a single clear sentence. You'll know this signal when you see it. You say something straightforward, maybe something that would make a younger woman defensive or uncomfortable. And instead of pushing back, she softens. Her expression changes. She smiles, maybe even laughs a little, like she's relieved. She might say something like, "I appreciate that," or "That's refreshing." She's not put off by your certainty, she's drawn to it. This happens because directness is a form of leadership. It shows you're not afraid of consequences. You're not trying to keep every door open or avoid conflict. You know what you think and you're willing to own it. And for a woman who's tired of ambiguity, that's magnetic. But here's the key. Directness only works when it's grounded. If it's coming from ego or insecurity or a need to prove something, it reads as abrasive. But when it's calm, when it's just you being clear because you respect both her time and your own, she'll soften into it. And that softness is her way of saying she trusts your judgment. She's ready to follow your lead. The fifth signal is the one that ties everything together, and it's the easiest to miss if you're not paying attention. She seeks your approval without asking for it. This one's delicate because it's not overt. She's not saying, "What do you think of this?" or "Do you like this about me?" It's more subtle than that. She'll mention something she did, maybe a decision she made at work, or a choice she's considering, and then she'll pause. She'll glance at you, not desperately, not insecurely, just checking, watching your reaction, gauging whether you approve. It might be the way she dressed. It might be a story she tells about how she handled a situation. It might even be something as small as the drink she ordered. And what she's doing, consciously or not, is looking to you as a reference point. She values your opinion. She wants to know if you see her the way she hopes you do. And that's significant because it means she's placed you in a position of quiet authority in her mind. You're not just another person she's talking to. You're someone whose judgment matters. The way you respond to this signal determines everything. If you're oblivious, if you don't notice the pause or the glance, the moment passes and she'll stop offering it. If you're overly effusive, trying too hard to validate her, it comes off as inauthentic. But if you meet it with simple, calm acknowledgement, maybe a nod, maybe a quiet, "That's smart," or "I like that," she'll feel seen. And more than that, she'll feel led. Because you're not just noticing her, you're affirming the path she's on. And that quiet affirmation is one of the most powerful forms of leadership there is. So let's bring this together. These 5 signals, they're all variations on the same theme. A woman who stopped managing the interaction, who mirrors your stillness, who defers small decisions, who softens to your directness, and who seeks your approval without asking for it. She's not playing games. She's not being weak or passive. She's signaling trust. She's creating space for you to lead because she feels safe enough to let you. And the beauty of it is you don't have to force any of this. You don't have to manufacture confidence or put on a performance. You just have to be present, calm, aware. You have to notice what's happening beneath the surface and respond to it naturally. That's the advantage of age. You've lived long enough to recognize these moments. You've seen enough to know when someone's genuinely comfortable versus when they're just being polite. And you've earned the kind of self-possession that allows you to lead without needing to prove anything. Here's the truth most men never learn. Leadership isn't about control. It's not about dominating a conversation or making every decision or imposing your will. It's about creating a space where someone else feels safe enough to relax. And when a woman gives you these signals, she's telling you she's found that space with you. She's ready. The only question is whether you're aware enough to notice and steady enough to step into it. So I want to ask you something. Have you noticed these signals before? Maybe you caught one or two but didn't realize what they meant at the time. Maybe you've experienced all five and you're just now putting the pieces together. Drop a comment and let me know what you've observed. What signals have you picked up on that told you it was time to lead? I'm curious to hear your experience. If this resonated with you, do me a favor. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to Mature Instincts. This is where we break down the hidden signals most people miss, the subtle dynamics that only experience teaches you to see. There's more coming, and you won't want to miss it.